Welcome everybody, my name is Marcus, and today we're going to be talking about the new Mortal Kombat trailer that just came out. It looks like the movie's going to come out mid-April. I'm not too sure about that. I actually thought it was coming out in March, but it looks like it's got pushed back to April. I'm okay with it. We're still getting Kong vs. Godzilla and the Snyder Cut for Justice League. Alright, so let's get into the trailer. I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually super hyped about the movie now after watching the trailer. I did have a lot of questions going into it, and I had some reservations about it. The last time we'd really seen Mortal Kombat on any screen was the Mortal Kombat Legacies show, which actually turned out pretty cool. You know, it was R-rated, there was a lot of action and violence, which was missing from the original Mortal Kombat movies way back in the 90s. So, you know, with this one, I wanted to make sure there was a lot of violence, a lot of action. Were they going to have a lot of the characters? The Mortal Kombat games are dark, and I wanted a movie to match that. So the trailer instantly squashed any of my reservations. It answered a lot of my questions, but also added new questions. All right, so let's start with what I'm super excited about after watching the trailer. The first thing is going to be the characters. They have a ton of characters in this movie. But what I also liked is they didn't try to show all the characters. They're probably going to leave out quite a few characters because they're probably going to want to make another movie. So let's not fit all of them into the first movie. Let's save some of the popular ones for later. Most notably, though, I noticed there is no Johnny Cage. Lewis Tan is playing a new character, Cole Young, which really, from my understanding, is not in any of the lore of Mortal Kombat. So it's going to be a new character alongside all of our favorite characters from the games. So that'll be interesting. It looks like they're going to be kind of on a mission going into the tournament, and it looks kind of like he may be replacing Johnny Cage. I'm not sure, but we'll kind of see from there. What's interesting is that Liu Kang is not going to be the main character, it appears, which is unlike the original one in 1995. So I'll be curious how that works out. I will say that the characters they have shown look amazing. Their costume design looks amazing. I really like the casting they chose for a lot of the main characters. So I'm super excited about that. And that was one of my big questions. Who's going to be in the movie? Which characters are they going to use? How is that going to play out? One question I do have is it looks like Kano is fighting on the side of Earth. So that'll be kind of interesting. Everyone knows Kano is usually a bad guy. He seems kind of like a sleazy bad guy. So I guarantee you he's probably going to flip sides. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with the story. So the next biggest question I had going into this movie was how violent is it going to be? I don't know if you guys have played the most recent Mortal Kombat games, but they're super violent. One of the coolest things about these games is the creativity of the fatalities and the moves that they can do, how violent it is. The action is just super intense. It's almost more fun to watch the game than to play the game. And I will say that because I suck at those games, but I still enjoy them just because of the cinematic aspects of them. So the trailer did not hold anything back as far as the action. They answered my question right away from that initial sequence. This is going to be a violent movie. We knew going in that it is going to be rated R, which is awesome. The Mortal Kombat Legacy show was more violent and rated R as opposed to the more childish original Mortal Kombat movies. And Mortal Kombat is a violent game. So we definitely needed a movie that wasn't held back by any ratings or, you know, a PG-13 rating on it. So super excited about that. I was actually quite surprised how violent the trailer really was. And I feel like once the movie gets going, it's going to be even more violent. The directors and the writers have mentioned multiple times that there's going to be fatalities. We even do a little sequence at the end of all the characters finishing off other characters. So it's going to be really awesome. Super excited about that. And I'm glad they didn't hold back with the action. It's typically expected with HBO nowadays. If it's going to be on HBO, it's probably going to be pretty violent. Look at Game of Thrones, even Westworld, things like that. They don't really hold back on the action. So I'm really glad that it's going through HBO Max in theaters. Another question I had going into it is, what was the style going to be like? The Mortal Kombat games are super over the top. They do have a lot of crazy action. The characters have a lot of powers. And it looks like they're staying really true to that. The sequence between Sub-Zero and Scorpion looks amazing. And he uses some of his signature attacks, and it looks pretty much like you're watching the video game in that sense, and you're watching these individual fights. And I know it's hard to make a movie based on a fighting game because, you know, there's so many sequences where it's just one-on-one fighting. How do you make that into an interesting story? So hopefully they've listened to the most recent video games. Mortal Kombat 10 and 11 do an amazing job with creating a storyline to go with the fighting, and it's quite cinematic. So if they followed the game, they should be fine with the movie. So I'm really excited to kind of see some of the signature moves. They showed a couple of them. Obviously they're going to hold some back, but they showed a few of the signature moves, and I'm really excited to kind of see which characters fight each other and, you know, who wins from those fights. So I just have to give props to whoever made this trailer and the people involved in making this movie, because the trailer was amazing, and I hope the movie is just as great. Hopefully it doesn't turn into another Suicide Squad where the trailer looked amazing and the movie was terrible. But just from this trailer, I feel confident about the movie. I feel like they're gonna do a really good job. I have a lot of questions about kind of the outcome of everything, the storyline. You know, I've seen in the past kind of where Sub-Zero is kind of a good guy. In this, it looks like he's gonna be bad. I mentioned earlier, Kano looks like he's working with the Earth Realm, but he's probably gonna turn out bad. You know, it's always kind of interesting to see where the allegiances lie. It looks like they are gonna have the tournament, which is cool. So, you know, who's gonna win the tournament? Who's gonna survive this movie? If it's gonna be as dark as it appears, and with Mortal Kombat, obviously people die the end of each fight, it's gonna be real interesting who survives this movie and who doesn't, and what happens to the people that lose. I'm excited to see what fatalities they have. I'm sure there's gonna be some shocking deaths in that movie, so super hyped about it. Another question I have regarding Sub-Zero and Scorpion is they always hate each other. They've become probably one of the biggest subplots in the games and in the show and movies, is kind of the relationship between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. They both seem like bad guys, but you know, they're pitted against each other. So in terms of the tournament, in terms of all these allegiances, whose side are they on and who are they going to help? And it'll be really interesting. So I'm excited to see where the plot takes that. All right, that wraps up this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please give me a like and subscribe. I want to keep making great content for you guys. Let me know what you thought about the trailer. I'm super hyped about it. I'm really excited about the movie, and I hope it turns out as good as it appears to be in the trailer. But thanks again for watching. Have a great day.